is there a way to quickly mark the clips in my media pool to show me which ones I've used and which ones I haven't yet used? What up folks, Alex here, MrAlexTech, and in this video I'm going to answer that question as well as show you some other handy little tips for using a little thing in Davinci Resolve called Smart Bins. Smart Bins are bins which automatically filter some of your footage from your media pool for you, which just makes your life a little bit easier and once again helps you to stay organized. I've got a handful of tips and tricks for this one, so let's jump into Resolve and take a look. So in this project, I've imported a bunch of stuff. Now, the first thing you should do when we're talking about smart bins, I recommend that everyone does this. First of all, make sure your smart bins are there. So open up your media pool. You should see smart bins on the left. If you don't, you click on the three little dots, come down, show smart bins, and make sure that is ticked. It should be there by default, so you should be good to go. Now, what I recommend that everyone does is click on Davinci Resolve in the top left-hand corner, come down to Preferences, jump over to the User tab at the top, and then go to Editing, and tick this little box here, Smart Bins for Timelines, and then click Save. So then in any project, this will work in any project going forward or any old projects you open. In this Smart Bins, you've always got this Timelines folder. And if you've got a big mess of stuff like I have here because I haven't been very organized, I can always find my timelines by simply going to Timelines. And it just filters out all of the timelines in the project to make my life easier. That is tip number one. If you've got a habit of making loads of different timelines, whether they have different resolutions or whatever, that's a nice easy way to find them. If you've got loads of folders, you don't need to search for them. They're always there. Now, there's actually a couple of built-in smart bins as well, which again, can just make finding the right thing simpler and easier. So in these smart bins, if you expand collection, the top two, video clips and audio only. So if I click on video clips, this will just show me the video clips that I've imported. So rather than just this mess of audio and video, I can just go here, here's all my video, and this one here, audio only, here's all my audio. So I've got my main sort of audio voiceover recording, any music, and any sound effects. Now, if you're on the studio version, you can actually take that a little step further because they added something called audio classification. Now, this is only for studio users, the paid version of Resolve, but let me show you. So underneath video clips and audio clips, we've got things like dialogue and music. So if I go to my audio, I've got all of my audio only here. I can highlight all of it, right click, come down to audio classification and then click analyze. And what it's essentially going to do is listen to all of those clips and then filter them out for me. So now if I go to dialogue, there's my dialogue. If I go to music, there's my music. And if I go to effects, there's my sound effects. And as you can see, that was all done in real time, so it's really quite quick. Now it's also created this subcategories for me down here, and I've got effects, whooshes, whooshes, and swooshes. So it's tried to kind of not just filter the effects, but filter the individual sound effects into individual subcategories as well. It's quite a clever feature. Boom. So now going back to that original question, how do you really quickly identify which clips have been used on timelines and which clips haven't? Well, technically you don't need to do both of them, but let me show you both things. So first thing, let's go back to our main master bin in the media pool and then click on this icon. This is the list icon. So rather than the thumbnails, make sure you're on list, and then you've got all of the column headings at the top. If you right click any of these column headings, you can actually add new column headings. And if we scroll right down towards the bottom, there's one simply called usage. And if we enable that, you can see everything here. Let's move it over a little bit. Everything here says 0 because we haven't actually yet got anything on our timeline. If I grab this clip here, drop it on the timeline, that's now going to say 2. If we grab a couple of more of these, put these on the timeline, it's going to show as 2. Now, the reason it's showing 2 is because there's a video and there's an audio segment. So if I delete the audio from this one, that's just going to go down to 1. These audio sound effects obviously only have one thing on them, so that'll just be 1 by default. So you just need to bear that in mind. But if we grab a bunch of these, put them all on the timeline, we can then sort this folder from highest to smallest, and there's a really quick way of seeing which things have been used on the timeline and which things haven't. Now this also works for subclips. I've made a whole video about subclips in the past. That's linked down below. But essentially, I've got this big long clip here and it's not on the timeline yet. I've just opened it up within my source viewer and I can use my I and my O keys to mark the sections of this clip that I maybe want to add on my timeline later. I can then right click down here on the actual little timeline within the bar and I can create a subclip, or I can use the Alt and B keyboard shortcut I can give this a name. Let's just say first sub, and we'll create that one. And that will create this sub clip down here. And that's literally just that in and out section which I've created. So I can go through these clips, marking these in and out points to create multiple sub clips from the main clips. And then as that added on the timeline, we can still use the usage column to see which of these parts of the clips of our main clips have been added or not to the timeline. Now, if you've already built a massive project and you've got loads of different timelines with loads of different clips added and all that sort of thing, what you may need to do is click on these three little dots right in the top hand corner, and there is a button that says update usage for entire project. And what that will do, that will load all of the individual timelines that you have in the project, check which clips are on those timelines, and then update this usage column, which will just mean that this usage column is completely up to date. What you can also do, added bonus, if you're at the end of the project and you want to tidy things up, if you click the three dots once again, there is an option to remove unused clips, which will use that usage. I'm going to actually do that and delete anything essentially that has a 0 in there. So anything that's not on a timeline will be removed from your media pool. But that still feels a little bit manual. So let's go back to our smart bins. All we need to do, we right click any empty space underneath the collections, so down here, and there is an option to add a smart bin. And then we get this create smart bin window appear. And I can give it a name, so I'm just going to put used. There's a handy tick box over on the right hand side that says show in all projects, which is really useful. So you only need to create this once, and then every project you open, this smart bin will automatically be there. And then you can add different rules. And these are rules for how these smart bins are going to be filtered. But we want to find usage, and it's going to say usage is, I want it to simply say is greater than 0, hit create, and now we've got this user smart bins used, and any clips that are on a timeline will automatically appear in this folder. So if we go to the master bin, let's just grab a few more bits, put all these on this timeline, go back to the used, and now you can see all of the clips are now in this used folder. Now, if we wanted an unused, if we right click on the used, we're going to go to duplicate. It's going to say copy of used. So we're going to right click that once again and go to edit. And it's going to pop up with this little tick box, copy of used. I'm going to change this to say unused. And then we're going to change is greater than to be is 0. So that means it's not been used anywhere within our project. Click on OK. I've got this unused. I'm going to put it in the user smart bins. And there we go. So we can go to used and we can go to unused. Simple. Now, smart bins have actually got tons of usage because you can pull through, as mentioned, pretty much anything. So if you've imported a bunch of footage with different frame rates, you can set up different smart bins which will automatically show you clips that were shot in 24 frames or 25 or 30, 50, 60 or whatever. So then if you have been a little bit unorganized with things, you don't need to scurry around through the media pool because you've got this smart bin which will automatically filter things for you. And just to quickly show you how that works, let's do one last quick example. I'm going to right click, I'm going to add a smart bin. This one's going to be video with audio that's 29.97 because that's what I shoot these videos in. I'm going to make this show in all projects, and sometimes you need to do more than one filter. So for this one, let's just change the file type to be clip type. And from here, we can change this to be is video, is audio, is video and audio, stills, multicams, timelines, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to go with video and audio. You can actually see the smart bin updating live, which is really handy. Then we're going to click this little plus over on the right-hand side to add an additional filter. So for this one, we're going to find frame rate, which on here is simply called shot frame rate. I'm going to change this to B is 29.97, and straight away you can see it's already done the filtering for us. So now I hit create, and I've got this video, audio, 29.97. I could make another one that was 24, one that was just the video that was 24, or whatever. And you've got these smart bins that are there, ready to go. So there you go. Hopefully that answers the usage question, but you've also got some bonus tips on how to make use of smart bins as well. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.